The first drill we're going to do is a forehand dink drill. And in this drill, I'm trying to land the ball into the target area. And that target area is between lines that are 5 feet from the wall and 7 feet from the wall. So now we're going to do the same thing with the backhand. Again, trying to land the ball into that target area. And this is simulating a fairly aggressive dink that would be hit at your opponent's feet. So it's a fairly aggressive dink shot. Now we're going to alternate forehand and backhand dinks. On the forehand, I'm trying to land it into the left court, and on the backhand, I'm trying to land it into the right court. So now we're going to do what are called two-touch dinks. So this is with the forehand, and what I'm doing, I'm trying to dink it into the target area. I tap it with the paddle, let the ball bounce, and I dink it again. It's a good drill for feel and control. So now we're going to do a two-touch forehand dink, but we're going to tap the ball up and not let the ball bounce, however. So we're tapping it to ourselves and then hitting the dink. Again, trying to hit it into the target area. So now we're going to do the same thing with the backhand. So it's a two-touch backhand dink. So with the backhand, I'm dinking it, tapping it with the paddle, letting the ball bounce, and dinking it again. Again, really working on control, absorbing the pace. So now we're going to alternate forehand and backhand. So again, on the forehands, I'm trying to hit it into the left court, and on the backhand, I'm trying to hit it into the right court. And I'm trying to have good footwork here without crossing over as I hit it. So now we're going to do some volley drills, and we're going to use that 5-foot line initially. So these are all forehand volleys. We're not letting the ball bounce from the 5-foot line. So this works on our reflexes. So now we're going to do backhand volleys from the 5-foot line. And as we do these drills, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to do as many as I can in a row, or perhaps as many as I can within a 60-second time frame. And I'm always competing against myself. So now we're alternating forehand and backhand volleys from that 5-foot shorter line. And as I hit these volleys, notice I don't have a lot of body movement. I'm fairly still, and that's important. Now we're going to do traditional volleys from the kitchen line, from the 7-foot line. These are all forehands. And again, I'm just trying to do as many as I can in 60 seconds, or perhaps as many as I can do in a row. And I'm always competing against myself. Did I do 15? Did I do 20? So now we're turning around and doing backhand volleys from the 7-foot kitchen line. Notice the paddle's in front. I have a short backswing and a short follow through. That allows me to be ready after every shot. So same thing, now we're going to alternate forehand and backhand volleys. Making sure we have good weight transfer, that we're making contact in front of our body, and that we're pushing the ball to our target. So now we're going to do some two-touch volleys, this time from the forehand. We're going to volley it to ourselves with our forehand. We're going to tap the ball up to ourselves and volley it again. So the ball's never touching the ground in this drill. So now we're doing the same thing with the backhand. And again, what this drill does is it helps with your touch and feel, being able to absorb the pace. So if you're playing a banger, for example, and they hit it hard at you and you want to softly land that ball, that volley in the kitchen, this drill will help. So now we're going to alternate forehand to backhand, the two-touch drill. So we're volleying it to ourselves, tapping the ball up, and then volleying it again. So now we're going to work on some more delicate shots. We're going to work on some drop shots. It could be a third shot drop, a fifth shot drop, a seventh shot drop. Anytime your opponents are at the kitchen line and you're not, this is a good option. So in terms of how we're doing this drill, you'll notice I'm drop feeding the ball to myself, and I'm drop feeding it far enough so that I can hit it off one bounce and still be 5, 6, 7 feet behind the kitchen line. So as I set up the court, I put a piece of tape probably at about 12 feet, maybe another one at 17 feet, and I'm feeding it to myself and just trying to drop it into the box. So it's just the shoebox. So I taped a shoebox probably about 2 inches above the height of the net. So you'll see that with painter's tape, that net line's at 36 inches and the shoebox is probably at about 38 inches. And this is just practicing a more delicate drop shot. So if that wasn't challenging enough with a shoebox, I just created another target. In this case, I'm using a plastic red cup. Again, taping it 2 inches above the net line. And I'm doing the same thing. I'm drop feeding the ball to myself, have an open paddle face, and I'm trying to land it into the plastic cup, which is way more challenging than the shoebox, as you can imagine. So for the last drill, we're going to work on the backhand, and we're going to work on the backhand drop. So I'm simply feeding the ball to myself, again feeding it far enough so that I can hit it off a bounce, and then trying to land it into the shoebox. So as you hit drop shots, just a couple of points to keep in mind. As I hit these, you'll notice my paddle face is really open. Notice how open it is? I have a very short backswing, and I'm lifting the ball. So I'm not swinging, it's not a shorter swing, I'm lifting the ball. I'm trying to land it just over the net. Because as you dink and hit drop shots, it's important to vary up the depth of your shots. What we were working on before, we were trying to put it at our opponent's feet. With this drill, we're trying to land it just over the net.